Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are taking on one of those dense procedural manuals that most people never actually read.
Right.
And we're going to distill it into something fascinating. The question is this: what does it really take to turn a box of supplies into a true life-saving system on a high-risk construction site? We're going way beyond basic first aid here.
We are. The document we've been looking at is the ABM Project Emergency Rescue Kit Safety Program. And it is incredibly detailed. It's not just a list of what's in the box. It's more like a blueprint for safety compliance when the stakes are incredibly high.
So our mission today is to kind of reverse engineer that blueprint.
Exactly. To understand the whole structure, the entire life cycle of preparedness, it really shows you what readiness actually means.
And the stakes, I mean, they couldn't be higher. The program is very clear about this. That rescue kit is often the last line of defense.
It can absolutely be the difference between a serious injury and a tragedy. It really justifies the intense level of detail we're about to get into.
So let's start with that. The document sort of frames everything around these, four pillars of preparedness.
That's right. And the first one is the most immediate. It's that life-saving urgency. The source material is very specific about the hazards on this particular site.
And they're not minor hazards, are they? I mean, they list things like falls from height, where a person might be suspended and needs, like, a technical rescue.
Exactly. Or severe equipment injuries where you're dealing with massive blood loss in seconds.
Right. And electrical incidents.
Which is a double hazard for the victim and the rescuer.
And confined space emergencies, which needs its own whole set of specialized gear. So a standard kit is just not going to cut it.
Not at all. But that rapid response, that's really only the first of the four essential functions. The other three get forgotten a lot of the time.
Okay, so what's number two?
Regulatory compliance. It sounds boring, I know.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's fundamental. OSHA, local regulations. They don't just suggest this stuff, they mandate it. And having a properly documented program is your shield against, massive legal liability.
Right. The fines for noncompliance can be huge.
Huge. And that leads right into the third function, which is just simple math. Response time reduction.
Meaning if you know exactly where the kid is.
You eliminate that frantic search. A 60-second delay in finding the gear can be the difference between life and death in a trauma situation.
And the fourth pillar.
Yeah.
You said it was more human.
It is. It's worker confidence. When people see this level of detail, the rigorous checks, the quality of the equipment, it builds a culture of safety.
It's not just a poster on the wall.
Exactly. It gives them peace of mind, It shows safety is a core value, not just some box you have to check.
Okay, so that's the why. Life-saving urgency, compliance, a faster response, and worker confidence. That justifies all the procedure that follows.
It does.
So let's unpack the kit itself. What's the anatomy of one of these things beyond, a box of bandages?
Well, the contents are broken down into really clear categories. First up, medical supplies. But we're talking about supplies for immediate trauma management.
So not for paper cuts.
No. We're talking professional trauma dressings, military-grade tourniquets for massive bleeding, specialized burn treatments, splints, CPR masks. It's all about stabilizing a life-threatening injury until EMS arrives.
Okay, that makes sense. But the part that really stood out to me was the rescue tools section. This is where it gets very specific to construction.
It really is. I mean, you'll find things like climbing-grade rope and harnesses just for fall rescues.
To get someone down who's suspended from a lanyard, for instance.
Precisely. Or heavy-duty cutting tools for entrapment situations. Imagine a worker pinned by machinery or rebar.
So these kits have to be customized for where they are on the site.
That's a crucial point. The kit near an excavation trench will be different from the one near the electrical substation. It has to be.
What about communication?
Also critical, the kits have to include things like durable two-way radios.
That are actually tested, I hope.
Tested weekly, according to the program. And also laminated hard copy emergency contact lists and site maps showing the quickest route to an assembly point.
And something I found really insightful, the program calls for PPE, personal protective equipment, not for the victim, but for the rescuers themselves.
Yes. That's a huge shift in modern safety planning.
Why is that so important?
Because you cannot afford to have the rescuer become a second victim. The crisis just multiplies. Protecting the responder with extra gloves, safety glasses, respiratory protection, it's paramount.
Okay, so we have this incredibly robust, customized kit. But as you said, the gear is only a small part of the equation.
Right. The other 90% is the human element, the organizational structure.
And the program defines that structure from the top down, starting with senior management.
Yes, their role is strategic. They allocate the budget, they ensure compliance at a high level, and they review the entire program quarterly.
And they're also tasked with investigating all equipment failures or near misses. Now, that seems like it should be the safety officer's job, doesn't it?
That's a great question. And it comes down to systemic learning. If a piece of equipment fails, management has to ask, was that a one-off human error? Or is our system broken?
So was the budget too tight or was the replacement procedure too slow?
Exactly. They can fix the system. The safety officer fixes the local problem. It forces improvement from the top.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that safety officer. They sound like the linchpin of this whole operation.
They absolutely are. They're the ones doing the crucial audits. They conduct those monthly rescue kit inspections, they coordinate the emergency drills, and they're the main contact for outside emergency services.
So they're the quality control.
The Quality Control Department for Human Safety, yes.
Then you move down to the supervisors on the ground.
Their role is all about local knowledge. A supervisor has to know the exact location of every kit in their zone, instantly.
And check that it's actually accessible, right? Like
Yeah.
not blocked by a pile of scaffolding.
Exactly. And they have to report any damage or tampering immediately. If they don't know where it is, the whole system collapses.
And finally, every single worker has a role to play.
Right. Safety isn't passive here. Every worker has to know where their nearest kit is. They have to do a quick visual check if they're working near one, and they must participate in the drills.
It's a kind of layered accountability.
It is. And it all requires constant checking, which brings us to the maintenance and audit schedule. The detail here is pretty astonishing.
So walk us through that. How do they keep this level of vigilance up?
They fight what's called safety drift, where skills and procedures slowly degrade over time. This schedule combats that with checks at different frequencies.
Starting with the most frequent, the daily vigilance check.
That's right. Start of every single shift, a designated person, like a crew leader, does a quick visual check. Is the box there? Is the seal intact? Is the path to it clear?
Simple.
Simple but essential. That's just the baseline.
And then the next level up is weekly.
The weekly detailed check. This is where they actually open the kit. They verify the inventory against the checklist inside, check expiration dates on medical supplies, and this is so important, test the electronic gear.
The flashlights, the radios.
Yes. A radio with a dead battery is one of the most common points of failure in an emergency.
Okay, so that's daily and weekly. Then you get to the heavy artillery, the monthly comprehensive audit.
And that's run by the safety officer. This is the real deep dive. They're not just checking dates. They're replacing expired materials. They're testing specialized rescue equipment, like a harness, according to the manufacturer's guidelines for stress and wear.
And updating contact info, that sort of thing.
All of it. This is what closes the compliance loop.
And what happens after a kit is actually used in an emergency. The job isn't done when the ambulance leaves.
No, absolutely not. The post-use protocol is critical. Every single used item must be replaced immediately. Reusable gear has to be cleaned, disinfected, and then you have to do a quick after-action review.
To see if anything could have been better.
Right. Did we have everything we needed? Could we improve the procedure? It ensures the kit is 100% ready for the next time without any delay.
And the glue holding all these checks together is the paperwork.
It's the system's memory, the detailed logs, the signatures, the dates. Without those logs, the entire maintenance structure is invisible to regulators and to management. It's the proof that the system is actually working.
Okay, so let's shift gears from maintenance to operation. The alarm sounds. An emergency is happening. What do the first few critical minutes look like, according to this program?
It starts with the activation protocol. And the first step is always call for help.
Before you do anything else.
Before anything else. Then you direct someone to get the nearest kit. And step 3, and this is non-negotiable, you assess the scene for hazards before you enter.
Look for live wires, unstable ground.
All of it. You have to make the scene safe. Then you put on your own PPE, and only then do you provide aid.
And there are specific rules for the person actually going to get the kit.
There are. They have to move quickly, but the program specifically says do not run.
Because you don't want the rescuer to trip and become a second victim.
You don't, and you bring the entire kit. Don't just grab one thing you think you might need. You announce your arrival loudly, and you open the kit in a clean, stable spot.
So once the kit is there, it's about scene management, creating order out of chaos.
Exactly. The senior person on site takes control. They start assigning specific, simple tasks. They keep unnecessary people back. And crucially, they designate one person whose only job is to go meet the ambulance and guide the paramedics in.
That one small thing could save minutes.
It can. It's so vital. Then, of course, the program lays out the medical priorities.
Which are pretty standard, I assume.
They are. Scene safety first, call for help second, then immediate life-saving interventions like stopping major bleeding, then treat other injuries, keep the victim stable until help arrives.
And the program gives some very serious warnings about specialized situations, right?
Yeah.
This is where that training really has to kick in.
It does. For electrical incidents, the absolute rule is you verify the power is off and locked out before you even think about approaching.
You do nothing until that hazard is gone.
Nothing. And then there's the other critical warning. Never, ever attempt a technical rescue.
Like getting someone out of a deep trench.
Without the specific, proper certification and the right team, knowing your limitations, knowing when to wait for the experts, that can be the most life-saving skill of all. An improper rescue attempt almost always creates more victims.
Which is the perfect segue into the final piece,
Yeah.
training. All of this procedure is just words on a page without muscle memory.
It's the glue. The program mandates 3 different kinds of training. First is initial training for every new hire. It has to include hands-on practice, mock scenarios, and they have to demonstrate they're competent.
But skills fade.
They do, which
Yeah.
is why they require refresher training.
How often?
Quarterly,
Wow.
which is pretty frequent. And these aren't just lectures, they're realistic drills that simulate the actual hazards on that site.
And finally, there's specialized training.
Right. This is for the workers who might have to perform those high-risk rescues. Confined space entry, high-angle rescue, advanced first aid. It ensures the people needed for the most dangerous jobs are completely current and competent.
And we know this is all highly specific because the source itself lists the ABM project's big risks. Height work, excavations, heavy machinery, electrical work.
The training has to match the risk. It all culminates in every person having to sign an acknowledgement form, pass a competency assessment, and participate in the next drill. It's a continuous loop.
It's just an immense amount of work, all to manage a box of supplies.
Yeah.
It really proves that the system is the safety net, not just the equipment.
It really does. The core message is that the kits are only effective when people are trained and confident, and the whole thing depends on that detailed, consistent maintenance structure we just walked through.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this? The source concludes, pretty obviously, that the best emergency is the one that never happens. Safe work practices have to come first. But the sheer depth of preparation required here for the response phase, it raises a really interesting question. In any high-stakes environment, how do you balance your resources? How much time, money, and detail do you allocate to prevention versus how much you allocate to response? How do you weigh the value of being perfectly prepared to save a life against the value of eliminating the need to save one in the first place?
That's the balance, isn't it?
It is. And it's something worth thinking about.
Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.